Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and what an exciting roughly 24 hours this has been for XRP holders. You got XRP that ran up to about 64 cents. You got the Spark token, which ran up to over 81 cents. And even Bitcoin, another all-time high, exceeding $58,000. I've got very popular chart analysts indicating that there's, in the short term, a path forward. And I cite specifically what would be required to hit this, but a $1 XRP potentially in the cards here. Now, this amidst the backdrop of an increasing number of chart analysts that I follow, acknowledging that a correction is going to be coming. Some believe that it's truly imminent, and some think it might take a little bit longer. Bitcoin might have to lead the market a little bit higher, but inevitably, they think that there's going to be a crash. Now, nothing goes up in a straight line forever, and so eventually, I personally believe there will be. Now, am I going to do anything in expectation of this? Highly unlikely. Look, the vast majority of traders out there, whether you're talking about the stock market or the crypto asset class, if you're talking about traders, the stat that I saw, I don't remember the exact percentage off the top of my head, but it'll give you a feel. It's roughly correct. 90 to 95% of traders lose money. And so timing the markets, humans have proven to be very poor at it. And so for me, you can look back in hindsight and say, if I just sold, I could have bought it back in again lower. But for me, the only way to be sure that I'm not going to have to buy back in higher later is to just weather the storm. And that's what I've been doing for over 3 years. I just don't sell. I just sit there and hold. I have hands of steel. The degree to which I have hands of steel, I think, is uncommon. Most people, and the reason I can say that confidently, it's not a braggy thing. It's just that most people in these markets, they do lose money. And it's because of FOMOing in, panic selling, trying to time markets. I mean, do you think that you're going to be, outside of that 90 to 95%, that will lose money by trading? I mean, if you think you can do it, and you can do it, I'm not telling you to buy or sell or hold. I'm just sharing with you the things that I think, know, believe, yada, yada. But I'm not going to be concerned about it. I just wanted to warn you because even though I'm never going to offer financial advice, I want to try to help to remove the emotion aspect of this from the equation, because if you're making buying and selling and holding decisions based off of emotion, which is what most humans do, that's a bad idea. Don't you think that? Just sit here now while maybe you're not feeling emotional because it's been pretty cool the last 24 hours. Don't you think it makes more sense to make decisions in life in general based off data and logic? Doesn't that sound like something that would lead to better results? Because the majority of the people in the market they're wrong the vast majority of the time. They really are. And that's well, think about it. How could that not be true? Most people in these markets do lose money because they respond emotionally. And so if most people lose money, then that must mean that the opinions of the majority are typically wrong. And so even just doing the inverse of what they're doing, doing the exact opposite, you'd think would yield better results, right? And I do want to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast in the space. I really enjoy talking about these topics from an unprofessional perspective and running this YouTube channel purely as a hobby. And when I launched this channel over 2 years ago, my vision was I really wanted to run it as though, like, say it was just you listening to this, you and me sitting down on a patio, drinking a beer or whatever your beverage of choice is, and then just talking. Like, what would we talk about if we were just sitting there just shooting the breeze about crypto? That's how I wanted to treat this. And I think I am. I think I'm doing okay on that front. And part of the reason I wanted to do it like that is, like, I don't have family and friends that are sufficiently interested that I could talk about this with on a regular basis. So it's so nice to have this outlet and see that there are so many other people that share my interest in XRP and crypto in general. It's really cool stuff here. But as I record this, XRP's at 60 cents. Bitcoin is at $56,432. Market cap for the asset class, $1,714 billion in Bitcoin dominance at 61.34%. And the Spark token trading at right now 66 cents. It's been jumping around all over the place. And given the degree to which it's illiquid, it's going to keep jumping around like extra like crazy, and it takes so little money flowing in to get these types of crazy jumps. But again, it did hit 81 cents. Here's the 24-hour high. Here's the all-time high, 81.8 cents. Crazy stuff here. 24-hour high for XRP, 64.9 cents, and for Bitcoin, it's $58,399. So for me, I've ridden this thing, the XRP specifically, up from $4 and then all the way back down. I started buying it, and again, when it got down to about 50 cents, and I kept buying when it got to 40 and 30 and 20 cents. Even when it got down to 15 cents, I purchased, and then purchased more closer to 30 cents, and then it went down. I bought more at 22 cents, and it's been all over the place. And so the only way that I could be sure that I didn't end up with less XRP in the future than I had at any given moment was to not try and time markets, to not see analysts, even if I suspected they were right, because they typically are, and they were saying, yeah, there's going to be a correction. The only way I could be sure I wasn't going to end up with less XRP was to just not sell and to not beat myself up for those missed opportunities, if you want to call it that. Because to me, I don't think that I think I'd be with the vast majority of humans that would just lose money doing that. I'm not a chart analyst. That's not what I do, but I can hold. I can control that. I can't control the rest. And so even when all these dips happen, I mean, do you really think it's never going to go back up ever again? Because I see humans behaving exactly like they did in 2017, where every coin pumps, and XRP to this point is participating, albeit at a suppressed price thanks to the legal action of the SEC versus Ripple. Fine, but it's still moving, and just wait for a spark to ignite, and I still think it's going to have its parabolic day. No way to know that for sure. It's not financial advice, but I happen to actually very firmly believe that, and so I just continue to hold. I think XRP will hit its all-time high eventually and enter a new realm of price discovery. I also knew leading into this market, the whole time I was accumulating, that, and I talked about it the whole time I've been running this channel, XRP historically has lagged behind other coins, meaning that if I was going to invest heavy in XRP, there could be this situation where other coins start pumping first, and you could just say, oh man, if I only had my money in that instead of XRP. But I'm not worried about the timing of markets. I am buying other stuff too still, actually. But I understand that XRP could pump among the last, and it may not this cycle, but I always knew that that was a possibility. And it seems to me that there are some people that are having trouble with that right now. And you just got to understand, you can't time lows or highs. You're not going to buy in at the very bottom. You're not going to sell at the very top. You're not going to perfectly navigate in this weird way where you sell one thing when it's up 2 or 3 or 4-fold just to move it into something else that goes up 10-fold. You're not a sorcerer. You can't do that. You know, it's a small percentage of humans that do it, and even most of them are probably just lucky, you know? So just keep that in mind as all of this is happening, because I think this understanding those things can really help you from an emotional aspect, and then you make your logical and data-driven decisions in terms of whether you want to buy or sell or hold. That's it. You make those calls, though. Here's a tweet from Credible Crypto. He wrote, did you buy the 45 to 50 cent range lows, pushing against range highs now at 60 cents? If you are excited now, just wait for the breakout, XRP. And so he tweeted that out a couple hours ago. Now, as I record this, and I'm a weirdo and record videos at weird times sometimes, I'm in the Midwest of the United States as I record this. I'm looking at my phone. It's 2:35 a.m. But you know what? I do what I want. Benefit of being a business owner. I get to kind of have my own schedule. Although, admittedly, at this point, my sleep schedule is pretty much messed up. But so here I am. But he was saying the other day, and I put it out in a video where I was talking about price just the other day, 45 to 50 cent XRP is for buying, and sure enough, it is moving up right now. Caveat being, of course, if Bitcoin tanks, the whole market goes back down, and then something like this. I suspect, I don't want to put words in Credible Crypto's mouth, but I think that he would say it would probably invalidate the prospect of this. But there you are. And then somebody named Kelvin asked, okay, could this be a buy the rumor event for the pre-trial conference between SEC and Ripple on February 22nd? What he's talking about here, and this is the headline you can see from CoinDesk from December 30th, 2020, Ripple to meet with SEC in first pre-trial conference on February 22nd. That is today. Now, here's the thing about that, and even not being a chart analyst, I can answer this question. Is the price pumping because of this? I firmly believe the answer is no, because there's nothing of consequence happening here. So when you see something that's a buy the rumor, sell the news type event, I think of, this is my favorite example, in 2018, in the weeks leading up to the announcement of XRapid going live, which is now known as on-demand liquidity, which utilizes XRP as a bridge currency. The weeks leading up to that announcement, there were rumors that it was going to be announced that the production version of what was then called XRapid was going to be live. And the price pumped up like crazy. I mean, it went from like 25 cents up to, I think it closed at 50 cents, but it ran up to, if memory serves, like over 70 cents. And that was a short-lived position there, but it did. And so then, and sure enough, this happened to be a rumor that proved to be true. And so when the news came out, people are like, why didn't it go up higher? And the whole time I was like, it's not going to go higher. The price action that happened, it's baked in. The news was baked in. So that was the rumor. People bought it, and then when the news hit, they sold it. But there's nothing of consequence here with this particular news piece. So I don't believe for a moment you're going to see a price tank because of this. If the price goes down, I mean, if there's some other catalyst like a Bitcoin tanking, something completely unforeseen, okay, fine. But because of this, I don't believe that for a second. Incredible Crypto responded in the same way. He just wrote one word, nope. Totally fair question, though. It's worth thinking through those things. Here's another tweet from Credible Crypto. A weekly close above 68 cents sends us to $1 minimum. Downside is defended by buyers at the 45 to 50 cent range, which we just move up off of. Price is pressing into resistance and has nowhere else to go but up. And he put that tweet out a little over an hour ago. He put that at 1:18 a.m. Again, as I record this, it's now 2:38 a.m. So this is what's happening right this very second. Now, you're a future person. You know more than me. Travel back in time and let me know, and I'll buy stuff. You can convince me that then I will time the market, but I need future information, you time traveler. Here is a tweet from Xerpsy, who tagged me along with a few others in the community and wrote, does anybody else find it hard to buy a coin that is still a good investment, but that you got way cheaper at an earlier date? I would like to answer. I would like to field this question. Awesome question, in fact. And when I was new to the space, for me, the answer was yes. I did find it hard. At this point, I don't. For me, it's more like a dollar cost average game. So like, even if something's going up, as long as it hasn't gone parabolic, because like I keep saying I don't chase green candles, and I mean that, but I should be more precise. If it's just going up a bit, whatever, and I'm confident like something's going to go up another 20x, whatever, for whatever reason. If I really believe there's that much more room to grow, or whatever the multiplier effect is, well, yeah, I'll still buy. It's just more like when something's truly taken off. I'm like, okay, train has left the station, right? But other than that, yeah, if I'm buying a little higher and then sometimes it'll go a little bit lower, yeah, that's all fine. And I totally get the feeling. But I mean, I'll tell you, the highest I ever purchased XRP, and it wasn't much. I probably put $50 worth in, but I bought XRP at, I believe it was $2.55 a few years back when it was that high. And I was like, well, I'm just going to try and get little scraps left. And I knew it could go tank and go back down, but I also didn't know if the market was going to keep going up. And I was also newer, still trying to get a handle on where we might be in the market cycle. And so I was just like, whatever. And then thankfully I ended up having years because the market obviously tanked. We went into bear mode as soon as I saw that, and I had sufficiently informed myself. I was like, oh, I'm just dollar cost averaging for years if that's what it takes, and that's what I did. And now I'm sufficiently positioned, thankfully, as a result of that. But no, I get the feelings. You're normal if you're feeling stuff like that. But still, I still think it's a bad idea to let the emotion determine whether or not you buy or sell. If you do think something's actually going to go eightfold, like for me, if I think that, that's going to weigh heavier than if in the moment I feel something like that, even if I did. But it's like, here's a tweet from Blockchain Backer, my fellow XRP YouTuber. Bitcoin exit plan fully executed, 65% sold. So he has sold now 65% of all of his Bitcoin. He's going to hold the rest. That's my understanding anyway. His last sell order was fulfilled once Bitcoin broke $58,000. Blockchain Backer is one of the individuals that's been sounding the alarm, indicating that we could see a massive pullback, maybe even 50% pullback in Bitcoin, which would tank the market, certainly. And he's not doing that to scare people. He's not saying it's going to happen for sure now. But even if it doesn't happen for sure now, he has the same mindset as me and pretty much everybody else, even if not now, in the future still. Nothing goes up in a straight line forever. And if you're going to be in this market, just understand that's going to happen. And it might hit you in the feels. And then just think back to this Moon Lambo video where we were talking about, like, yeah, but it has to happen. This is just how markets work. It just has to. And then I just think that beating oneself up for not having done something, illustrated some perfectly performed, perfect plan in terms of, adjusting where you have investments. This and that. It's a fantasy land. You can't do that. Like nobody, almost 0% of humans can do that. And it's just nonsensical to beat yourself up for that. And if you're not aware of this type of volatility or you can't handle it, you should question why you're even in the space. This is the most volatile asset class on the planet. And so these types of things, I've written through so much, none of it emotionally phases me. So if you are having trouble, you're not weird. It's not like I don't look down on you. Nobody should. Then that just speaks more so to them. If you have trouble with that, just come on over to the Moon Lambo channel, and I'm just going to talk logic and reason. I'm not going to tell you to buy or sell or hold, but I might be able to calm you down a little bit if that happens. Uncle Moon Lambo got you back. It's okay. Here's High Altitude Investor. He's very firm on the idea of Bitcoin going down pretty much imminently. And here's a tweet that he put out. This up-only cult is in for a rude awakening. And indeed, people are quite euphoric to this point, which is kind of scary. When you get to the point where mainstream media is talking about crypto and Bitcoin, and you got all sorts of celebrities talking about, oh, I'm buying this or that, which is the case right now. Like, to me, that is alarming. Like, this is a sign that perhaps something is going to happen to the downside. And again, am I going to do anything in preparation for that? Highly unlikely. I really don't think I'm going to do that. And then I'll look back and like, yeah, if I had, I could have said, and I'm not going to care if I could have, would have, should. Doesn't matter, because I think that even if it goes down 50%, the macro trend is in place. And that's another thing to keep in mind. All the analysts that are saying this that I'm following, they still say, yeah, even if it tanks, that doesn't mean the bull market's over. It's a correction. It's still going to go way, way, way higher. Even High Altitude Investing says that. Because he says that Bitcoin's bearish, XRP's bearish, like almost everything's bearish. And he's not saying that just to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt. He's saying that's what the chart is showing to him. That's the way he's interpreting it. But he still firmly insists that the macro trend is in place. Perfectly fine. Here's another analyst kind of on that bandwagon now. Leb Crypto writes, Bitcoin wanting higher. 60,000s would be the area I would expect the beginning of a cooling down period in both price and time. Scaling out of Bitcoin longs is not a bad idea if you are a trader. See, and so right there, if you're a trader, if you want to do it, you decide that for yourself. I know that I'm not at risk of having less of a particular cryptocurrency if I just don't take any of those actions. And so that's more important to me. I don't care in the moment what it's worth. Like, so let me share with you this. This might help. Most of the time I've been accumulating XRP in particular over the last 3 years, roughly. I've looked at it in terms, and this has helped me, I've looked at it in terms not of what my XRP has been worth at any given moment in terms of United States dollars. I've looked at how much I'm holding. And as long as I see that number going up, I'm like, yep, heading in the right direction. Buying it at all sorts of different prices, dollar cost averaging in. Sometimes it's worth way more, sometimes it's worth way less. And I just don't let that bother me. And I get excited, if anything, about the fact that the amount that I'm purchasing or that I own is going up by purchasing at lower prices when there are dips. You know, like that's a way of looking at it. That's what I do. And he does cite here also macro targets unchanged for the end of this market cycle, $100,000 to $300,000 top for Bitcoin, which is great because, again, XRP just follows along with everything else. Here's another analyst that feels the kind of similar from the Daily Hodl. Crypto analyst who accurately called Bitcoin collapse says top could be near. Here's his new forecast. I don't really want to go through the whole thing here, but it is a popular analyst named Dave the Wave. And it's the same concept, whatever his numbers are here. So he's similar to Leb Crypto, maybe potentially top up out around 68,000 before crashing back down to the previous cycle high of $20,000. Most analysts I follow don't think it's going to go down quite that low. Whether it does or doesn't, I still don't care. I'm just going to hold. And I'll get more excited about that because if the whole market tanks, what I'll be doing, because I do have more money on the side, I stopped purchasing alts briefly. That's the only thing I did change is I did stop purchasing. I'm just not going to sell and risk, having to buy in higher later. But I did pause my purchasing. And even if it's weeks from now and there's a crash or longer, I don't care. I've paused my purchasing. And when it does happen, I am going to be the one that's going in there. And if you're one of the people that's selling, you're going to be selling to somebody like me. Just know that. I'm going to be purchasing your fear. That is what's going to happen. And then there's even Peter Brandt here. Here's the title from you today. Peter Brandt wants you to be prepared for corrections on the road to $200,000. And they cited something, or Peter cited, it might have been the actual tweet. I can't remember if it's in just the tweet or the article, but he cited something I've been sharing with you, which is that the last bull run from 2015 to the end of 2017, when Bitcoin ran up from whatever it was, like, I don't remember what it was in the beginning of 2015, but it ran to $20,000. You guys know the story, right? There were 9 major corrections along the way that averaged out to 38%. And we've had like one correction since the March low so far. So just keep that in mind, like one notable, one pullback. So I just beware. It is coming for sure, That's just how this works. Nothing goes up in a straight line forever. I don't know when, and so it's just just best to have just be emotionally prepared. That's what I'm trying to say. But I wish you the best. I will wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.